All right, guys. Well, welcome to another episode of the Parent Athlete Advocate podcast. We're here today with our amazing guest, Miss Paige Wadley. Paige, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Great. We are excited to have you. Listen, we're halfway through the season, and with you taking over the reins at Sand Springs last year, tell us a little bit about your outlook for not only the remainder of the season, but really the next few seasons? Because knowing you, I know you've got a huge vision for that program.
Absolutely. Well, we're a very young team. I think in total we have 13 freshmen on the team, so that's a lot of numbers in a younger group. So the thing that we've really coming into this lack that we struggle with against other teams is obviously experience. And so for us, we're taking it game by game. Every game we talk about every day, can we get 1% better? Because sometimes if you try to set too big of goals and you don't celebrate small victories, sometimes that can feel a little bit defeating, especially with a younger group that's still learning how to battle, learning how to compete, learning how to win. And so we celebrate small victories every single game. It doesn't always look like a win on the scorebook, but teaching these girls how to show up every game, how to give 100% effort, how to get 1% better every day, and we're doing that. We're doing that every day. We're doing that every game. I really got blessed with a lot of girls who love to compete, and I think you'd probably agree as a coach, you can't coach that into a kid. You can't coach that grit, that heart, that desire to get out there and just fight. On the floor every single day. And I don't have to ask these girls to do that. So right now it's teaching them just to not always, like I said, focus on maybe what it finishes on the scoreboard. It's about building culture, which is what I've had to come in and do, just being in my second year there now. And then it's teaching them how to learn how to win at the end of the games. Because I can't give them years of experience overnight. That's just something that you have to gain as you're on the court. You're getting those minutes, and so that's really something we've battled is teaching them, when to pull the ball out, and we don't have to rush for a shot, and when to foul, when not to foul. When we need to stop the clock, get to the free throw line, and score from there. So it's been teaching them those little things. Having such a young group, looking at the next several years, it's exciting. I mean, I think when you get the opportunity to watch our team, you'll be impressed with them on the defensive end. We've got some girls that can score at all three levels. And so right now it's just building culture, celebrating small victories every single day, and then teaching them how to win and gaining experience as much as I can, getting the minutes on the floor.
Awesome. Coach, you spent times at schools like Rejoice and Owasso where you won a state championship. Can you talk to us about how those experiences have prepared you for your current leadership role?
Absolutely. It's always exciting to be on the high of winning a state championship. I was able to have the opportunity to coach some incredible players at Owasso and be a part of that coaching staff and that team. And it's exciting when you're on the highs and, everything's going good and you walk away with that state title. I had the awesome opportunity to win it as a player as well. So, there's nothing better than winning a state title. And so, then going over to a team with less experience, no Division I athletes on a team, teaching them, like I said, kind of with the team I had now when I went over to Rejoice, teaching them the game, learning how to overcome adversity, those things. I don't think you can become maybe the complete coach and the whole coach you want to be until you've been at every level. You've been at the highs of winning and you've been at the lows of losing. You've been on the court with 8 girls at a practice and you're trying to figure out how do I navigate this. So you're stepping into play and getting your other assistants to step into play, and then you've got 20 girls on a team. And so I think coming full circle from winning and playing at the highest level to playing with girls who are new at basketball to now girls who have incredible talent, just gaining experience. I think all of that kind of combined is setting me up to be able to coach girls from every level and to understand when to have grace and when to push them harder. You learn as a coach, you have to coach kids differently depending on their personalities, depending on what fuels them, what gets them going. And so I think being able to coach kids that come in at every level has helped me do that.
That's awesome. I remember when we used to battle in AAU when you were coaching boys, coaching John and those good groups. So speaking of that, I know your daughter came over with you and is actually emerging as a player to watch, even though she's just a freshman. Tell us a little bit about her as well as some other marquee talent you guys have.
Absolutely. You know how it is coaching your kids. It's an absolute joy, and it can also be challenging at times. Ella is a freshman this year. She is our second leading scorer on the team with 13 a game, averaging 7 rebounds, around 3 to 4 assists a game, and really incredible player. She can go in and post up. She can shoot the floater. She's got insane range at the 3-point line, and I'm so proud of her. Unfortunately, I know I talked to you, Jason, a little bit about she actually had a devastating collision taking a charge in the paint, and she tore her meniscus. And so she has a lateral tear in her meniscus right now. I do believe she's going to be able to brace it up and play through the season and then look at our options of surgery after season. But, it's been exciting getting to have her with me. I don't know that there's any greater memories I'll ever make than being able to coach her and be on the floor with her with what she loves doing and what I love doing. We share that same passion. She has an ability to score and see the floor and an IQ that, a lot of times you see that in coaches' kids because they've spent their life in the gym. And she has. I mean, I can remember at Owasso out there. Montnati would be doing practices or camps, basketball camps, and he would let her go in. She's like 4 years old out there barefoot doing mic-in drills and shooting games with them. And so she's literally spent her life on that basketball court. So now to see that translate over and be able to be one of my players, not just the little girl running around the gym barefoot, every time I look out there, it's just a joy for me. And she wants to go on to play college basketball someday. So she is, getting a lot of great experience right now. She's surrounded by really great players. And so, it helps push her. They're competitors. So it makes her have to show up every day and compete. And they complement each other really well. That freshman group really complements each other well because they all bring really unique strengths to the game. And so, it's been fun. It's hard to be a coach's kid. The expectations are higher. You feel like you're under a microscope. So you feel like everything you do, everybody's watching and commenting. And, I've told her, if there's anything anybody knows about me, I try my best, and I have a coaching staff that holds me accountable to be a fair coach. And if you fill a role for me and you do your job, you're on the court for me. And there's no denying she's been able to get out there and do that. I mean, her stats are showing that. And so I tell her all the time, like, the biggest thing that you're going to battle is you overthinking it, you getting down on yourself. That's with a lot of players, but I think for a coach's kid, it's even harder. I think our basketball team has done a great job just like supporting her, encouraging her. They love playing with her. She loves playing with them. And so, it's been awesome. I love it. I can't imagine not having her out there someday. I don't even want to think about that. But we've got some other really incredible players on the team. In our freshman group, Tyndall Smith, I think she'll be a name a lot of people will hear. She is ferocious on defense. Some of the best on-ball defense I think I've ever coached. I would say she reminds me a lot of Riley Boone, which is a big compliment because Riley was a fierce competitor and Tyndall is. She's really evolving in her pull-up game from mid-range. And she's really getting to where she sees the floor well. So I think she's going to be a big name. I think she's averaging about 7 points a game for us. She had a game the other night, 20-point game. So that's been incredible. And then I have Brooke Bazone, which is also a freshman for us. She's also in our starting lineup. We have 3 freshmen in the starting lineup right now. She's fierce competitor as well, working into the point guard position. She is a gnat on defense. She makes so many people mad. She gets girls to commit so many offensive fouls against her because she just frustrates them. And then I have a couple bigs on the team, 6'1" girls that are playing in the paint. They're juniors for us, so they have a little bit more experience, and they've been able to fill a good role for us. One of those starts for us, Lily Crane. She's the 6'1" girl, great mid-range shot, developing consistently in the post for us, and so can also pull out and hit the 3-point shot. And then Nevaeh Garrison, very strong, very good defender. Still getting comfortable on the offensive end. She is definitely more defensive minded. We're trying to work with her on using her size a little more, but great attitudes, fully committed. And then I have my senior, Califweshko, which is our leading scorer for this season at 16 points a game. And she is actually committed and got a full ride to go to Coffeyville Community College. And she's come a long ways, a really long ways. And so she's quick. Her 3-point shot is incredible. She's got deep range. When she is on, she's on. I mean, it's hard to stop her. She can pretty much score from anywhere. So it's a good rotation. I have another freshman that comes off the bench, Avery Mercy. She's left-handed, sees the floor well, attacks that left side well, finishes at a very high percentage in transition. And so I think she's going to continue to give us some big minutes and be a key player for us as well.
At JP3 Training, our goal is not to just get good at drills. We actually want to see skills convert into game situations. And to do this, we take a comprehensive approach because I'm a big believer that you can't grow what you don't know about your athlete. So that means we work closely with our athletes to go beyond the training sessions to provide mentorship that actually moves them out of areas where they might be stuck and helps them to move forward with confidence. So if you're ready to accelerate your athlete's confidence and activate enhanced performance, book a call today and find out all the ways we can help grow your athlete's game.
Awesome, Coach, and I'd like to wish your daughter a speedy recovery, and you touched on it a little bit, but the pathway to college seems more convoluted than ever with NIL, transfer portal, extended eligibility. As a parent and coach that is gearing up for it, what strategies are you using to help your daughter get to college, and what tips or advice or strategies would you have for other parents of young ladies who are hoping to play in college?
Well, I think that, if you want to set yourself apart to be a player that coaches notice, you have to be doing things that other players are not willing to do. And, we see kids that sometimes think that they want to go play college ball. It's a conversation I have with all of our girls. I ask them, hey, how many of you want to play college ball? And then we sit down and we talk about it, and we set realistic goals. Like, what does this look like? Where do you want to go play? And then I'm a very honest coach. You either love me or hate me for that, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I see and what we have to do to get you where you need to be. Sometimes kids set goals that don't match their work ethic. And so it's teaching them that, like, hey, if you want to become this kind of player and you want to play at this level, here's the things you're going to have to do. One big thing that kids don't understand, I feel like they don't understand these days, is you will never become a college athlete only showing up to practice in practice. It comes with outside work. It comes with skill training, maybe with outside trainers. It comes with morning shots up in the gym when nobody's there. It comes from reps at home. It comes from conditioning. What do I eat? How do I train my body to be the very best that it can be? And so teaching athletes to have better discipline, work ethic, like I said, you can't coach that into a kid. They have to want it more than they value maybe their time laying in bed or watching TikTok or going out with their boyfriend, whatever it is. And so you see the difference between those kids that are very passionate about it, that truly have goals that are attainable and they want to reach them because they're putting in the work to do it. You don't have to ask them to do it. I once had someone tell me, you'll know a kid and what they're passionate about because you don't have to tell them to go put the work in. And as simple as that was, it was brilliant because you don't. And I know I could go back to my days playing high school ball or college ball. I'm sure both of you would probably say the same. I mean, I was consumed with wanting to be the best. I was consumed with being in the gym. I mean, you never had to tell me to get a basketball in my hands. I'm pretty sure I slept with the basketball beside me. And so it's rare, I feel like, nowadays sometimes to find those kids. And when you do, you hold on to them and you invest in them. You invest in all the kids, but there's those kids that just come to you like, hey, this is what I really want. And they're willing to do the work. And so that's conversations I've had with my players. We have it with them every single day. Like, if this is what you want, if you want your free throw percentage higher, you've got to get up more shots. You know, if you want to get faster, you've got to get more jump ropes in, get more agility in, get more strength training in. And so just teaching kids how to be the very best that they can be. I think sometimes, you know, we just assume these kids are going to show up and just do it. I think that they want to do it. I think that they just need guidance on what do I need to do to get there. And so that's conversations we've had, giving them opportunities to get in the gym as much as possible. Really just the key connector is the communication part, because, you know, you have to know what are they trying to do and where do they want to be, you know, 2, 3, 4 years from now when they're going off to college, like what does that look like? Where do they want to go? And then setting those goals and then giving them kind of a blueprint of how to get there. And it starts with the time that you put in. And then just teaching them. It also goes into the classroom. It goes into having good grades, showing up for school. What are we posting on social media? That's something we talk about with the girls all the time. Like, those things follow you the rest of your life. And so really teaching them how to be kind of the overall athlete, not just what they do on the court. What do they do outside the court? I had a talk with a young lady the other day about, you know, when you go off to play college, all the kids there are good. That's why they're getting recruited. So they're not just looking at talent. They're looking at, like, they don't want to have to train the mind. They don't want to have to constantly play the mind game with you. They don't want to have to worry about, are you going to class? Are you making good choices? So you have to make sure that those are important factors going on in your life, that you're prioritizing the right things.
Yeah. No, that's so true. We actually run a pathway to college course for a lot of high school athletes, and it is a 8-week course, but we spend the first 2 weeks sometimes just cleaning up their social media and their bios and all the other, you know, mistakes that have been made throughout the previous years. So that's awesome to hear that you're actually helping them with that at the ground level. But listen, tell me this. Obviously, as somebody who, as a coach who's been at several different stops, you know how hard it is making changes and getting your culture set in stone. Well, flip that and let's talk about it from the parent and the player side, because obviously it's hard whenever you have a new coach come in and you don't know what to expect. And let's be honest, sometimes there are inconsistencies there because a coach has to get time to lay the foundation and all that. What is kind of your message to parents when there's a coaching change, or when they're trying to learn what the culture entails or what the coach wants, whether it be from practice, what practice over the holidays, or whether it be from, like you said, the expectation of how much you're in the gym? How do you kind of coach parents to navigate all that?
And that's a great question. So, you know, coming into a program and being new, I think the number one thing you have to do is have an open line of communication. You have to get in front of parents, let them see you. They'll never buy into what you're doing if they don't trust you. And so I think trust is the number one thing that I have to build with them, and that's talking to them. And I think that it just means helping them understand that I'm putting the whole kid at the center of every decision that I make. And so, and communicating what those standards, what those expectations are. And then you have to be a coach and a person that goes through with the things that you say. You know, one of my favorite mottos is you build a relationship before you build systems, because kids will run through a brick wall for someone that they absolutely trust. And I think that parents will find that same commitment when they see that you're doing right by their kid. When I came into the program last year, you know, I had girls who I think weren't really sure about me. They didn't want the coaching change. Coach Berry did a great job there. And they were a little unsure about me. So I came in and let them know, hey, my first meeting, I'm not here to disrupt everything that your former coach did. He did a great job. But I want to know, what are some things you want to keep and what are some things that you want to change about who you are, about the identity of this program? And then I shared with them who I am, what my expectations are. And I had some that left that didn't want to stay, didn't maybe agree with where my vision for the program went. And then I had some, you know, I had to make a difficult decision when we got to about October, of a couple girls that were two of my very best players. I mean, phenomenal players that I ended up actually removing moving from the team that were two of my highest scoring players. And I knew that it was going to probably cost me some wins, but I think that my job isn't to protect one or two people, it's to protect the team, and it's to protect the culture of the team. And so our numbers dwindled quickly, setting some rules in place and some culture and some things that I wanted to do. I always meet with the parents at the beginning of every season. And when I say the beginning of every season, that means like when school's ending and we're going into a summer program, sitting down and talking with them, giving them a calendar, giving them, I give them a contract of things, of expectations where they understand, here's when we're practicing, here's what your daughters need to be at, here's what it's going to take to play at this level. And so they understand that there's a commitment to this. I think one of the most important things that we can teach kids is when you sign up to be a part of a team, that's we before me, and that there's a commitment that has to be there from coming to practices to watching film to doing my job on the court. One of the biggest mottos that we've had this year is, what is your job? And when I ask you to go on the court, I don't ask you to do everybody's job. I ask you to do your one job in that moment. And if everybody's doing their one job, we have success. And so I try to translate that to the parents when I sit down and meet with them. They know I have an open door policy to come talk about anything with their kids. I won't talk to them about playing time. That's something they have to trust me to make that decision. But I want them to know that their child's physical safety matters to me. It comes first, that their mental health matters, and that their long-term development is protected. But I want to teach them how to communicate. I want to teach them how to handle adversity. I want to teach them how to take responsibility for themselves. And so it's just making sure that they know that I'm on the same page as them, and I want to partner with them, and making sure that I communicate all expectations, what consequences there are if they don't meet those, if they break any of our team policy or team rules. So as we go into the season, there's no question of, well, we didn't know this, or we didn't know we were supposed to be there. We didn't know we weren't getting a Thanksgiving break or a Christmas break. And so I think as long as you can communicate with them and they understand that you're putting their child's best interest at heart, and that you're going to do right by all the kids, and then you hold true to the things you say you're going to do. I can tell you, having to cut those two players last year, it was hard. It was hard because, they were that talented. And then it was hard because I knew people were going to think I was crazy, but I didn't care, because at the end of the day, I had to hold true to my word that I said, that if you break these policies and, kind of the 3 strikes you're out, that I held true to that, or my team would never respect what I was coming in and trying to do, and that I was there to protect them. And so I think they were able to see that, and I think it formed a trust between us. And I think that if you don't have trust between the parents and the players, and it doesn't go full circle, I think that you're never really going to build the culture that you want to build. And I try to have that. I try to have an open relationship with them, and them to see that for me, coaching really is a platform for me to be invested in these kids much more than just what they do on the court. Athleticism is such a small part of our lives and these kids' lives. You guys know that, I know that, we've been there, but character and integrity, those qualities last a lifetime. And so how can I use this platform to invest in them, to teach them so much more than the game? And I think when you bring these kids in and they're unsure, or they're making bad choices, and then you see them walk out the doors, regardless of what their stat sheet looked like, when they walk out the doors a better person, making better choices and really doing something in life, you've won. And I hope that parents see that is one of my biggest priorities for their kids.
Your kid is working, training, playing AAU, posting highlights, and still no calls, no offers, no feedback. That frustration is real. The Pathway to College program helps parents understand why athletes get recruited, not just how hard they work. We teach you how to identify the right level, the right schools, and the right moves, so effort finally turns into opportunity.
No, I like that answer. With that being said, obviously you alluded to the fact that you've had some transfer in and you've had some transfer out. With the transfer portal, so to speak, being such a hot topic nowadays, what are your thoughts on the transfer? And as well, what advice would you give to parents and players who are considering a transfer?
The game of just the world of sports, I think in college and high school, has changed drastically from what we once knew. And, I hate that we've kind of opened the door for people to just walk away from something that either is a challenge for them, or maybe they're not getting what they want. And we make it too easy for people to just leave and not be committed to the program that they were originally in. And I really hate how that's all changed, but here's the reality. It is what it is, and we can't change it. So we can sit and we can complain about it, or we can be frustrated, or we can just say, this is what it is. Like, how do I create a program where kids don't want to leave? How do I create a program where kids want to come in? And I think that's something, I sat down, I have an incredible coaching staff that I'm able to bounce ideas off of, and they give ideas. And I think that, sometimes we think like kids transfer maybe because the grass is greener, which obviously that's their thoughts, or maybe it's facilities, maybe it's they think the coaches are going to get them more scholarships. But I think whenever we're able to build relationships with those kids, there's just some type level of accountability maybe that goes in with that. I don't know about you guys, but the coaches I played for in high school and college, I had such a great relationship with them. I would run through that brick wall for them. I never wanted to disappoint them. And so I think as a coach, when you take time to invest in them, like I talked about earlier, as the whole person, you're asking them, how's your day? What's going on with your life? And it's not just they're out there on the court doing a job for you. there's no level of commitment I feel like they really get for you. They can go play the sport anywhere, but is there a relationship that you have built? And I think that all goes back to that culture. Like, what kind of culture are we building? Are the girls bonding? Are you doing things outside the court that aren't just basketball, where they're getting time together? And so that's kind of the culture we're trying to build, so girls want to stay. But here's my other part of that. If someone doesn't want to stay and play for me or be a part of my program, that's okay, because they have to go where they feel like they're going to grow and where they feel like is best for them. And I have no ill will towards anybody that wants to do that. I totally get it. I mean, when I brought my kids over, it was because I chose to go to that school and take an opportunity at a new position, and my kids wanted to go with me. I gave them the opportunity. And so there's times where it's an innocent move because of something maybe that's better for them, or something with a parent, or a move, or whatever it might be. So there's no ill will for me with that. I think kids have to go where they feel like they're going to flourish. Different kids connect with different coaches, and that's okay. And so I may not be everybody's cup of tea, and I'm all right with that. And I think I want the girls that are going to be there every day, that show up, that are bought into what I'm doing, and the same with parents, and we're all kind of working towards that same goal. We hope not to lose any, but that's just part of it now that it's been made so easy for kids to be able to do that. But I think there's something so beautiful about having a group of kids that have played together, grown up together, or even if they haven't grown up together, but they went through high school together, and you're developing those kids into what they need to be, and they stay together and they play together. And it's not, just a bunch of kids that have all came in different years, and now we've kind of formed what I always call like a recruited AAU team into a high school team. I mean, anybody can go do that, but that's what you see at college. That's the awesome opportunity college coaches get, is they get to handpick kids. And so I love the good stories of teams that's like, hey, that's their same team they've had all 4 years. Look at them now. And I really hope, I'm all for anybody wants to come into our program and be a part of what we're doing. That's great. But I'm also okay with if this is the group that I have all the way through, I'm fine with that too, because they're an amazing group of ladies, and I'm invested in them. I'm invested in developing them. I'm invested in teaching them the game and how to win. And we plan on doing that. So whatever that looks like, and whoever that looks like I'm doing that with, we will get it done.
So a lot of times when we consult with parents, we deal with, or we hear them talk about playing time, politics, personalities, having to wade through all that. Talk to me about when the parents' expectations of playing time or performance don't necessarily match up with what's going on because of all those other factors. What's kind of your message to parents when they find themselves in that situation?
Well, I think as a parent, we all think our kid's the best, right? That's just, part of it. I think as a coach, you probably agree, I'm the hardest on my kids. My boys tell what they consider horror stories from when I coached them and how hard I was on them. I don't remember it being that bad, but my boys swear I take it easier on Ella. She would disagree. And so, I've been very, very, very blessed over the last 10 years of my coaching career to have incredible parents. I have had supportive parents. I think that I've been able to build relationships with the parents and have an open line of communication where I'm chatting with them when I see them. There's no, they have to come find me. Like, I see them, I want to chat with them. I talk to them. If I ever notice something off with their daughter, I'm always trying to make that call, like, hey, just concerned about what's going on. And so I think that helps in building the trust. So when I do make decisions, hopefully they're understanding it's for the best interest of the team. You're always going to have people that don't agree with what you do. I know, because we hear it in the stands behind us when we're coaching, and they're giving us advice, some great advice from back there. But, I've had to learn to let those things just kind of roll off my shoulders and do what I know is best for the team. I sit down with my coaching staff every time we're going to go make decisions, and we talk about what roles we need and how do we fill those, who's doing the best at that. And it's a full and I try to get parents to understand this. You're not at practice every day. You don't see what we see. You don't see what they're giving in practice. You don't see what we're looking for in this role. You don't see maybe the body language. That's a huge thing for me. The girls will tell you. I've had a couple that's been benched for it, and I've removed a couple for it. I'm very serious about that. Are you a good teammate? Do you have good body language? Are you respectful? Are you committed in showing up? And so there's so many things I think sometimes parents forget what we're looking at to make these kind of decisions. And as I told you guys, the coaching staff that I have, I'm not talking in particular about Coach Christy Wilson. She was at Owasso. You probably remember her, Jason, forever. And we've actually been coaching together now for the last 10 years. And she's great at, if she thinks I'm making a decision that maybe, well, do you think this person would be better? Or do you think this or that? And so we sit down and we break it all down. I don't think sometimes parents think about how much time we put into trying to make these decisions. And that I said to my team one day, like, trust us in this process, trust the decisions that we're making, because ultimately our job relies on the success of the team. So why would we not put the best people out there to do the job? And so getting them to understand that. But I think it really does go back to the communication, the relationship building, and you're always going to have people that don't agree with your decisions. And that's okay. It's about knowing that you're doing things right. Can I lay my head down on the pillow every night and go to bed and go, I made the best decision for my team, not one person, for my team. And I honestly can say I felt like myself and my coaching staff, we worked together to really make those decisions and make the best decisions that we can for them. And I will say this, I've really this year tried to be very intentional. Coaching girls basketball is a lot different than coaching boys. I coach both. And I will tell you, as girls, we're overthinkers. So we create narratives in our head if nobody tells us any different. And so anytime that we're making a decision to change something within maybe a lineup or someone's role maybe decreases a little bit, we've been being very intentional. I go over, bring them to the side or bring them into my office and say, hey, I want to talk to you kind of about where we're at, why we're making this decision, maybe what you got to do to get back into this or what we're looking for. And so that way they understand what's going on and it's not them questioning it, maybe putting some self-doubt in their head of what I did or didn't do, because that's the last thing I want. Because with girls, the biggest thing that we battle is self-confidence and the mind game. I mean, the power of the mind is so powerful and it can control so much of the game. And so just trying to do a better job to be intentional about having those conversations so they understand exactly where they stand with us.
Very good. Well, listen, Paige, we thank you so much for being on with us today, and we thank all of you out there for watching, and we will see you on the very next episode. Until next time.